Hello, everyone. This is Farooq, and you are at Revpanda Live. Welcome to our podcast box at Oddsgate booth here in Lisbon. And I'm together with Tiago Almeida, CEO and co founder at Oddsgate. Tiago, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving us this amazing opportunity to have our podcast here at SPC Lisbon. And I want to start with that. Your booth is amazing, and if there was an award for the best booth design here at SPC Awards, and I think it's going to happen tonight, right? You guys would win it. So congratulations, great job.
Thank you so much, Farooq.
That's really great. So I would like to ask you about your impressions of the event. So we are almost wrapping up the event. It's day 3, and your booth has been like crazy busy, lots of traffic, a lot of people came to see you. So maybe you can tell us more on your impressions.
I think I need to tell you, and I need to be very honest with you and our watchers out there. Basically, this was the busiest event ever in my career. The hours that the team put in are exceptional. The effort, the preparation of almost 9 months that we did for this event was extremely big. And when we saw this wrapping up, right, when we see people, friends, partners, clients, competitors coming in and congratulating us for the effort, means a lot. All of us were extremely busy, and while we were understanding what's happening during this event, where the industry is going, we checked if we are doing things in the right way. And I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud of the people that work with us, because I feel this. We announce something special during this event, and we see that everything is coming together, and we are connecting the dots. It was amazing.
Absolutely. And on day 1, you started the event in the evening with Oscar dinner. So I was there and it was amazing. Not only the Portuguese food that you served, but also the venue, and it was really top notch. So thank you for that. How was the evening for you that day, by the way?
It was a lovely night. We were full of energy because of one day here in the conference, after understanding where the industry is going and our little contribution for the industry, mainly about the regulated market in Brazil, where we keep developing our energy and our business strategy. We showcase some of the solutions we prepare for the Brazilian market. We test waters with the operators. We are here 9, almost 10 months after the market shift for full regulation, and we see the results coming in, right? We see operators that started in 2022, right? And 9 months ago, they finalized the process that cost 35 million Brazilian reais. Right? And if the technology wouldn't be ready, we wouldn't be here today with these 7 partners, thanking us for the journey, but also understanding this is just the beginning. We are now initiating a marathon where the best is yet to come. And while we are giving players out there certain aspects of our technology that really can make a difference, we saw during the event at night that people are happy. Yeah, operators are happy. All the stakeholders. We have also content providers. We have regulators there, right? And we feel this harmony, right? When people come together after months and months and years, actually, of investments, and something work as expected, right? The industry, mainly in Brazil, where we are very strong, has many disruptive challenges, but we did our little contribution to understand that the pieces that are coming together are going to form something bigger. And we are going to be able to assist our clients, our partners, with the best technology out there that can really shape their dreams and ambitions to create something that is stable, that develops value, and that is modular and strong enough to remain relevant in 20, 25 years.
Absolutely. I will get to there. I'm so impressed with your presence here at the event, Diego. I actually want to continue a couple of details on that. First of all, you have got this OG News So it's just amazing publication. So you didn't only put what's happening at Oddsgate, but there are some thought leaders over there. They were sharing their opinions, what's happening in the market trends, and so on. Talking about trends, here you gave away all the beautiful publication that you have got this uh, Gate to 2050 report that is an extensive report. So you were giving it away, and I saw the wow moments when people were like looking at them. So that was amazing. So these are some of the highlights as a marketer that I saw from outside. So I just want to also give a shout out to Wagner. Amazing job over there on that.
Yes, I need to tell you that Wagner is one of the main forces of our company because he's one of the best brand strategists out there, and isn't he was not from the industry actually. You know, he came from a different industry. He had his own experience, very mature professional. But when I challenge him, help us here, right? He learned more in 6 months that maybe I've learned in 6 years, right? And we have many examples like him. We have several people that were part of the industry. They had a very strong past experience, but we merge, let's say, that know-how and that expertise with people that are coming from different industries, with different mindsets, different expertises. And that's one of the main secrets of Oddsgate, right? We are not a company that built a business model that leverages only what the industry knows, because sometimes that comes with certain um, bias
Yeah.
perception, right? That can challenge the growth of our clients. When we merge, let's say, this know-how and expertise, and Wagner is an example, and I could be talking about other 20 people here, right? We understood that let's learn with them. Let's develop something together, right? And this translates into Oddsgate brand. That is a new brand. We are still, during our first years, right? And then we are competing in a very, let's say, mature landscape against companies that are doing the same for 20,
Yeah.
25 years. And people have top of mind and recall of power brands, right? Wow, this is an honor.
And you don't trap yourself in the iGaming industry frame. You are bringing people from outside, so they come with their experience and they can add more value even there. That's something I noticed, and you're really good as a company at attracting those talents. How do you do that?
One of the first leaders that we retain is a gentleman that has more than 25 years of experience in human resources and talent development. He was working for a PLC company here in Portugal and a media company, actually. And I saw the culture, right? I saw how a big company could actually learn from best practices and developing talent and creating a great place to work. And that was my first invitation, right? We were three people. We were taking share desks in our way to the toilets of shared office space, and somehow he accepted to work with us. And I was super excited because how come this is happening? Because it's a PLC company in a little startup that has these tables. I'm not glorifying the story. No, it was literally like this, and he moved, he changed, he took the challenge. He's a gentleman, with many years of experience. So it's not even someone young that, that can risk, right? He has a family, he has all this collateral, right? And when he accepted to work with us, I told him, listen, I want to be the best place to work in Portugal for a company of our category. Can we do it? He said, that's a massive challenge because we need to create an environment where people are protected, where people can learn, where people can develop their expertise and they can make mistakes. He said, listen, I made mistakes most of my life. All right, let's do it together. And since then, I think we are one of those companies, where people can, we don't care if people come in at 9 in the morning, if people come at 3 p.m. It's their life, right? We are part of it. We're invited to be part of their life, right? And yes, we can build value together. We can create great projects together, but it's the other way around. We don't want yes men. We don't want slaves. We want people to be happy, because when people are happy and if they put 1 hour of their full attention and commitment, great things happen. And we are lucky to work in such a landscape where the multiple, right, the return of investment you have versus the time you put in really shows off, right? And I think it's a very good example how small companies can battle against giants.
That's amazing. And you said about the best place to work. I think you even you're listed as a company as one of the best places to work in Portugal. Maybe
Yes.
you can tell us more. It was last year, I guess, right?
Now it's the second year in a
Second
row.
year.
Yes, we were the second best company to work below 50 employees. That's one category, right?
Yeah.
In the meantime, for the second year, we couldn't apply for the same category because we passed the threshold, and then we had to compete with companies that have up to 250 employees. So
It's
companies
a
that are,
different
yeah,
story.
it's a different ballpark, right? Of course, we couldn't perform so well because we had to learn how to scale, how you move from being, let's say, this company with three people sitting in your way to the toilet to actually be a company that have their own office.
Yeah.
Seems simple. It's not. It's not. You need to have certain routines. You need you need to set the standards, and while you don't lose the flexibility, right?
Yeah.
And from there, okay, we need to be, let's say, a company that has multiple sites, multiple offices, multiple time zones,
Yeah.
and still team understands the quality you have in your mission and your vision, and they can still perform with all this friction,
Yeah.
right? Uh, that was a challenge. So we couldn't perform so well. So we were the fifth best company to work on that specific category of up to 215 employees. I think we're going to stay on that category for a number of years. Um, I hope so. But in the meantime, what we are going to do is we are applying for the same for the same award in Brazil.
Yeah. That's amazing and good luck
Thank you.
to get that one. And I'm so excited. I will be watching that. Tiago, from people and culture, maybe let's move towards the product a little bit because Oddsgate makes it very different when it comes to the other competitors in the market. You're not only just offering a technology, but the product has inside a lot of different modules. Like you have got the CRM, you've got the affiliate tracking, and even a couple of other technologies, which is seen as an extra in other
Yeah.
providers. You just have it in the package. For those who are just learning about Oddsgate, maybe you can tell us more about the company and the product that you have got, the strong sides that you're representing.
Oh, absolutely. Oddsgate is a platform provider, and we are very proud of developing certain technological assets that can provide a very strong turnkey solution. This technology was worked in order to meet certain opportunities that the Brazilian market had to offer 3 years ago. And since then, we traveled a long way to understand that in order to be a good partner, you need to be agnostic in terms of what you're offering, right? There are many great companies out there that provide beautiful technology, but sometimes they want to expand their service to content. They want to expand their mission, their vision, and their services to be more than just a technological partner. We don't believe in that. We enjoy being agnostic about what we offer. I think great operators are able to make their own choices as they know the audience way better than we do. They know how to monetize it. They own the license. They take the risk. And in order to perform, you need to have certain commitments with third parties. I don't want competitors. I want friends. I want partners. I want valuable relations. And in order to achieve that, it shouldn't be us dictating the terms of what you should pick in order to work with us. So that's one of the things that sets Oddsgate apart is time to market,
Yeah.
stability, and adapting to what the operator needs. Many times we detect certain opportunities before because we see the trend, we have big data. And while checking data, because of our past experience working in other projects, both B2B and B2C, we can offer the 1% difference that will allow operators to, why don't you try this? We are seeing great results. Maybe if you use, let's say, this gamification
Mhm.
strategy, right, you'll be able to give your players something that will stand you out of your competition, right? This usually translates from our experience and what we have been doing, let's say, with the markets for the last couple of years, cheaper CPA, higher lifetime value, and churn rate that can be lower. And this is what great technology should do. It shouldn't be, let's say, that disruptive. Yes, you can be disruptive by offering a better service and by connecting certain aspects that sometimes people don't want to connect for commercial reasons.
That's correct. And at Oddsgate also, it is not just delivering the technology to the operators. You're guiding them for better player experience, all the way from the acquisition to retention and so on. And you also have something that I'm really new to that concept. Actually, you call it managed services, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us more on that?
Managed services is a division that we have Oddsgate that allows operators to work with our contribution in terms of key aspects such as SEO, conversion, CRM, gamification, where operators can benchmark their results against our pool of clients and projects. So this allows teams that belong to the operator, they don't belong to us, right? To understand what you're doing is actually a good idea. What you're doing is actually working. And if it's working, I can benchmark this result against other operators to tell you this is a bit better, this is a bit worse, or you should focus on that. Respecting, of course, the privacy of the results of the clients. This is very important. Respecting, of course, data privacy and behaviors of the players, but to set the standard and allow operators to understand if their investment is safe.
That's correct. And you're also helping them scaling up when it comes to their operations. Sometimes you've got those clients just starting their iGaming journey.
Yes.
And you're guiding them. And also those existing operators, when they hit a plateau, they don't know like what to do, what to test and give as the experience to their players. You're guiding on that as well. So how does it work with the scaling up experience with Allskate?
Farouk, we have operators that's actually all of them. They start from zero, right? So we saw the journey of bringing a site live to actually reaching the scale that they have today. And in some cases, it's more than 200,000 unique active players a day. So what we saw is that technology will be able to help you guiding certain results that you can also achieve if you go manually, right? But it will take 10 times the time, 10 times that time with maybe 2 or 3 times the costs, right? You need more people. You need to focus in things that are manual, that are that are creating a routine that is also demotivating for your own team, right? When you connect a platform with this kind of services, technology with this kind of expertise, then you will be able to offer to your players a journey that not only is scalable, but that will allow personalization. And this is very important for us, and it's part of our study, 2050, where we mentioned the opportunities around hyper personalization. We really believe in this because it's the opportunity to give players what they are looking for out there without jeopardizing your own P&L. What I mean with this is you here we are talking about regulated markets, right? Oddsgate, it's all about regulated markets.
Absolutely.
And we see the cost of doing business in regulated markets where the taxation is extremely high. We are seeing also certain tax hikes happening. And we are seeing also a big restriction around the ads message, right? And certain positions that operators cannot take. And unfortunately, I think this is a trend that will carry on. So when we have the opportunity to scale, to create personalization, to give something that is not only money, it's care. Players usually feel motivated to stay. And this is something that we witnessed in firsthand in 2021 and 2022, remain in 2023. It was a big reality in 2024. And in 2025, or you do it or you die.
Well, I see that you're also integrating all the new technologies coming up. You talk about personalization, which is actually rooting out the data that you gather about the players. So maybe you can tell us on that a bit, like how you bring all the different data that you're gathering from the entire player journey in one place, and then how you decide in the technology that you have got what's next for that player. So would you maybe tell us on that part a bit? Sure.
That's a great question. We work with great partners, companies like Smartico, that really understands that in order to create certain um, tools, you can't be only, let's say, a CRM, right? Yeah. That's important, but you need to be more than that. It needs to be affiliate tracking, it needs to be gamification, and the platform should be a partner providing real-time access to data. And this should be connected with certain operational hooks that will allow your CRM team, together with our managed services advisors, right, to connect the results that you expect to have. When we have personalization that is part of the player journey, we can say after registration, you'll get this pop-up. After you deposit, you'll get this pop-under. After you make your first bet, you're going to get a recommendation. Why you don't try that also? So all of this is part of a journey that is so powerful that operators can actually set it in multiple different ways in order to create a journey and a recovery of the player in case he lapses. That is outstanding. In terms of data, today we have more than 10,000 data attributes connected with our partners, right? And this allows us not only to see a lot of different behaviors and dynamics, but also to anticipate certain scenarios. We have flows that are so powerful. We have Guilherme, we have João, we have great members of our teams, of that division, really creating things that make a big difference in the operator's bottom line. Right?
You said 10,000 different data attributes, right? Could you imagine such a thing? Like you're in our game for a real long time. So like let's say 10 years, ago, such a thing, like how it would shape. So can compare like where we are right now.
10 years ago, I remember a bit more than 10 years ago, I was working with a great company called Silverpop, right?
Yeah.
Silverpop will allow you back, let's say, what was the technological centers back then? All you could do was export an Excel file. You would have first name, last name,
Yeah.
active last 30, 60, 90 days, casino, true or false.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Not much more than that. Let's put it like that. Like you had GGR, you had deposits, lifetime, and so on. But it was extremely difficult to give players an experience that would be unique, right?
True. And while data is enhancing the experience, sometimes I see that iGaming operators they might be like super confused because they have got so much data points and they may not have the right tools or right actions to take. So you're also helping them in that probably, like how they can really utilize that data.
Well, definitely. Not only our managed services company provides constant reports, daily meetings, weekly meetings, right, to provide benchmark about what the operators are seeing, but also strategies around
Yeah.
data. Right, excess of data will kill you also. But when you provide a very easy to read dashboard showing where we were 30 days ago and what we're doing now,
That's
operators can really understand, wow, this works. This is my strategy for the next 30 days,
Gotcha.
60 days, 90 days, right? And that calls investment, that calls commitment, that calls a true partnership, 360 degrees, that not many companies are doing out there, right? There are many platform providers providing managed services where this is an opportunity to charge. Okay, we understand that, but we believe that it should be bigger than that. It should be a true
Yeah.
partnership, right? Okay, we might not have, let's say, 3,000 people doing this, right? Okay, but let's get the best 5 people out there and let's help them to drive our operator's business and to create something bigger.
I see. And I think back in April, if I'm not wrong, you joined our podcast and we had a whole session about Brazil. And I still refer that podcast session as your go-to guide for Brazilian market because it was amazing. We had like you and two other experts in the market. That was really fantastic. So we had the regulatory changes as of the beginning of this year, and after the first quarter, we had the conversation. Since then, how do you see the Brazilian market? What has changed?
Everything, everything changed. I was having a very interesting discussion with one of our existing clients and partners. And one of the things that we were discussing, actually, it was his input, right, is that this migration from .com to regulated market was more intense, more, let's say, dramatic, if I can say, if I can use this word, or disruptive than the migration, the first migration that Brazil had that was moved before the pandemic, right? That was, and during the pandemic, that was
Mm-hmm.
migrating from tickets being distributed
Yeah.
in streets, right, with the brick and mortar shops to online, right? This was in 2020, right? And he was telling me this was more disruptive because not only we had less time to adapt, but also we had to make a certain adjustment here and the team. So the team is not the same. We need different profiles now. We need different technology now.
Mm-hmm.
We need more tools and we need better tools. And of course, we need to be extremely efficient in terms of costs, in terms of taxation. This is a challenge for the technology. Why? Everything you have prepared for 3 years is now outdated. This is the new normal in Brazil. You need to prepare every 3 months to reinvent yourself because the market is so competitive. You need to compete against operators that are doing the same with more resources,
Yeah.
right? It's extremely challenging.
And you were saying that uh, 1st of January, it was a completely different world when you
Yes.
compare a week before. So that was really something. And I was having a conversation with Oscar, Chief Legal Officer at Oddsgate, and he was telling me there might be also some new changes
Yes.
coming up in the market, or let's call them updates.
Yes.
But I heard some rumors. I don't know if this is the right way to address it, but in Brazil, only about like 30 operators are paying their taxes on time.
Yes.
Does it mean that something is wrong right now?
Unfortunately, this I can confirm that this information is not far from true. Let's put it like that. Um, there are many aspects where Brazil, as a young jurisdiction in terms of regulation, needs to improve. Right, as Portugal needs to improve, as many countries in Europe need to improve. Um, Gambling in Brazil is such a young and vibrant industry that, for some reason, it was perceived as being a structural salvation for many of the deficiencies, deficiencies, right, that Brazil had. And of course, it's not possible. Okay, Brazil is a
Yeah.
continent, right? So even if you have an income of 5 billion Brazilian reais in a couple of months, that's sure, right? With 5 billion in Brazil, you cannot do that much in terms of federal government. So this is a very good sign for that probably taxes are already too high. Not only operators are subject to a taxation of 12% of their GGR, which in principle
Mhm.
is not that much when we compare with Europe, right? But there are other taxes. You have municipality taxes, you have state taxes, you have federal taxes. So the effective cost of operators today is already 42 to 45%, depending on the states. On top of this, there is a scheduled tax hike
Mhm.
to happen now in October in a few weeks. That is going to increase the tax from 12 to 18%, eating the first line of revenue. So when we talk about effective taxation in Brazil, in certain cases it might reach 60%. You still need to
Mhm.
pay content providers. You still need to pay salaries that, by the way, are
Yeah.
also taxable, right? You still need to invest in branding. You still need to pay for certain technological costs for companies like Oddsgate. So it's tight. It's extremely tight. And yes, it's a sign that something is doing perhaps not in the best way. And it's also creating a very strong fragmentation because this is a country where we have the federal licenses and the state licenses, where the tax might be 5% of the GGR. So how come this is happening? And how can we help operators to overpass these temporary difficulties. Because I really believe in the Brazilian market. I know that this is temporary. I know that solutions are coming, and the solutions will effectively allow operators to consolidate.
Mhm.
But in order to bring consolidation and in order to protect the player, you need to play by the rules. So we cannot motivate operators, affiliates, players to go offshore because it's impossible to thrive in this market.
Is it still an attractive market since 1st of January? Because you really mentioned all this information and now it makes me think twice. So you believe in the market. Can you elaborate more on that?
This is still a market generating 34 billion TIs of revenue, right? And 17 in just, let's say, the first half year. So it should be around 34 at least. Worst case
Okay.
scenario, right? I have a guess, and maybe this is a bet we can do, that I think the market is going to pass 40 billion reais by December, right?
And you mentioned in our conversation before the session, you mentioned that um, now you see operators that you're working with are actually on the profitable end.
Yeah.
So all the regulations, their effects, and so on, they are like behind. You were working together with them, guiding them as
Yes.
well. You have a, by the way, really great team here with compliance and legal. So I learned so many things from them. So I can really imagine on that. So agreeing with you on that, the Brazil is a great market. So yes, definitely operators would consider. So let's say those operators outside of Brazil who would like to enter the market, what would you recommend them?
I would recommend these operators to come with us or with any other platform provider because definitely there is a profitable market. Naturally, the bottom line will be 10, 12% of what is the GGR. So operators need to be prepared for that. You need consolidation. You need to be extremely efficient. You need to be extremely organized. You need to really understand the audience of a continental country like Brazil. And of course, segment, and be very efficient about what you're going to do and what you're going to offer your players. In a market where you have more than 100 license operators and only 33, 34, 35 are paying their taxes on time, this means that 70 are challenging more, maybe a bit more, are feeling, let's say, the challenge of the taxation, right? This is a very important warning sign for the regulator because you don't want these operators to struggle. You don't want these players to go to the black market. Otherwise, they'll be completely unprotected.
Yeah, and it's going to affect the whole ecosystem, as you mentioned.
Correct.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Tiago, I would like to thank you, first of all, once again, hosting us here at your amazing booth at Oddsgate's booth here at SPC Summit Lisbon. For me, it was the first time that we brought Revpanda Live podcast to a flagship event, and I very much enjoyed. I think we have done like 8 podcast sessions, about like 40 interviews, and so on. This has been amazing. So, to you and to your team, kudos. It was great. It was a fantastic experience for us. And what's your next step? I think you guys will be going to Sao Paulo, right?
Yes, we are going to be in São Paulo next week. Yeah.
Amazing. So you'll be traveling all the time. So congratulations once again for the great success here at SPC Summit. And I appreciate your time during your busy schedule here, Tiago.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Everyone, thank you for watching. We had a fantastic conversation with Tiago today. We covered Brazilian market, we covered technology trends, and we are wrapping up SPC Summit here with this podcast. Stay tuned, follow us on our social media channels, and I will see you at the next Revpanda Live session.